Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Bratt, and I'm an assistant professor at the College of Information Science at the University of Arizona. So this presentation was given at the 2024 annual meeting of the Association for Information Science and Technology, and it was in Calgary, Canada. So I'm going to give a little overview of this quick lightning talk. It's about 5 minutes, so I'll try to be fidelitous to that. And focusing on this project that is ongoing, which is assessing and building artificial intelligence literacy in Pima County Public Libraries. So this is a proposal that we are still developing and hopefully submitting to some kind of supportive granting institution, TBD. But I wanted to give an overview of this work because it's really exciting. And my co-authors, Bilingual Diana Daly, Christian Roman Palacios, Juan Liu, are all professors or assistant professors or associate professors at the University of Arizona College of Information. So here I wanted to first just put us in context. So there's increasing ubiquity, right, of artificial intelligence and large language models in our daily lives. And this has been the case for some time, as highlighted by Safiya Noble in her work on the search and retrieval mechanisms that really control what pops up in our research results, from credit scores to a lot of really important ubiquitous technological pervasiveness so far. So lots of big words just to say that the impact of AI on the workplace, especially popular applications like roles in manufacturing, health services, and banking, all of this ubiquity will really lead to a need for greater literacy among the public. So we argue that this is a new form of literacy, and we argue this along with many of the leading institutions in libraries, including ALA, who we've also thought of literacy in terms of the need for established programming guidelines. So the importance of AI literacy is not only recognized by the American Library Association, the ALA, but also the Association of College and Research Libraries lately. And I should note that this is November 2024, so I can imagine in a month, much of this, it's very dynamic and may have changed. So the challenge that we see here is that there is a lack of established programming guidelines. And by programming, we mean in public libraries, what kinds of programs do you put on for literacy support for developing AI literacy in public and academic libraries? So we see this as an opportunity. Public libraries are centers, right, for information access, for informal education, for accessing types of materials that enable literacy and informed citizens. So for this study, the study is also kind of a community partnership as well. And the goal is to build pathways for increasing LLM and AI literacy through public libraries. And the focus is specifically on culturally sensitive AI. So, you can think of AI literacy from a kind of broad perspective, how do these things work, et cetera, but thinking through this in terms of a culturally sensitive literacy competency for effective and responsible interaction with AI. So realizing the kinds of implications these have for cultural heritage artifacts, for example, is part of our focus. So this is a two-stage project with the first stage being focusing on assessment. So we're going to look at the existing literature on programming for AI in libraries, just to start us off. And then we're taking an orientation that considers the community as being full of funds of knowledge. And given this orientation, we're going to start with some exploratory work to understand what libraries are currently doing as well in Pima County specifically. And so we're going to use focus groups, think alouds, and surveys with patrons and librarians to understand what existing infrastructures are and potentially what the opportunities and challenges might be for implementing literacy programming for AI. And I should mention that this will be specifically a bilingual program. So at least bilingual, maybe trilingual or quadlingual or whatever it might be, but starting off with Spanish and developing these workshops in both English and in Spanish. So the focus for the methodology for stage 2 is then to develop these workshops. So what did we do in stage 1? We gathered information about Pima County Public Libraries and their patrons and the librarians there. And then based on that, developed workshops for literacy workshops, if that is something that the libraries think would be helpful. And the workshops are tailored to community needs and will be culturally sensitive and also bilingual, as I mentioned. Part of this approach is a train the trainer approach. So preparing librarians to deliver the workshops to the public and supporting that work in the ways that we can through a grant. So compensation, for example. Oh, I lied, there are 3 stages. So in our 3rd stage, we are going to deploy and then evaluate the deployment of those literacy programs. The public workshops will be in English and in Spanish. The assessment will include an iterative evaluation using, indeed, more focus groups and the Think Aloud technique as well, and surveys. Finally, we'll refine the workshop and data for toolkit development. So the deliverable here is build a bilingual AI literacy toolkit. And the idea is that you can use this toolkit not only in Pima County, but across the nation. So other libraries can implement this perhaps in other languages, but to have this literacy toolkit that can then be customized. So one way we're going to do this is create an open educational resource, or OER. I was a bit new to this, so the idea is that you can have an open access publication that many people work on to create a guide for how you would create such a toolkit. And this would include project methods, frameworks, and best practices, and we would build this together with the librarians. And then again, the purpose would be to support nationwide implementation by public libraries. Now, importantly, the community impact we envision for this literacy initiative is target communities such as Pima County and the broader network of Knowledge River program. Now, I'll mention that the Knowledge River program is a program for MS, LIS, Masters in Library and Information Science students here at the University of Arizona College of Information Science. And this supports students from Indigenous backgrounds and minority backgrounds to participate and enroll in the master's program in Library and Information Science. So the goal of this is to enable the adaptation and expansion of the workshops based on local needs beyond the initial project timeline. And then again, this is going to be a bilingual delivery, so in both Spanish and in English. So finally, this will follow a few next steps, including developing pathways to enhance AI literacy through public libraries. And then once we finalize the toolkit, we'll publish the results and prepare for wider adoption. Again, this would be a seed grant to begin with, but then for future development. And we do want to just acknowledge the Knowledge River program and Pima County Public Libraries as partners in this initiative. So with that, thank you so much for listening, and I hope to connect with you soon.